Hi everyone, today I'm back with another 3 looks 1 palette. Trying to use all my palettes in my collection and just rotate them and do some looks with them, and also kind of give my thoughts as I'm using them. And I'm mostly going to choose neglected palettes like this one, which is the Natasha Denona Gold palette that I was kindly given for Christmas from my good friend Natasha, and literally have not used it since before today, which is sad because it's a gorgeous palette. I'm really excited to use it. But yeah, it's been a really long time since I've used Natasha Denona eyeshadows, so I'm going to try and do a couple of looks with them. As usual, I'm going to put all the timestamps on the screen, so if you want to go to a particular look, then you can. Hopefully you find this useful if you've got this palette. Even if you don't, I'm sure you have colors that are similar to what's in here to serve as some inspiration. I don't know exactly what I want to do today, but I do know that I want to use this palette. I'm probably going to use a lot of these mustard brown shades today because we're going out for Mother's Day breakfast. I'm going to use the mirror in here. Going in with the Luxe Soft Definer and using this matte mustard shade. It's gorgeous. I haven't actually used Natasha Denona eyeshadows in a really long time, but her matte formula has definitely improved since the 28 pan eyeshadow palettes. This is a gorgeous shade. Very pigmented. Don't need much of it to get this pigmentation. Love a good mustard shade. I'm going to blend it out with this Smith 235 brush. Really like the Smith brushes that I've tried so far. And Joey's in the house. Hello, Jojo. You want to play with eyeshadow too? Okay, these are mine. So you can play with... What can you play with? Not much around here. What can you play with? I do want to use some shimmer today. So some gorgeous shimmers in here. Might go in with this matte blue, navy blue. It's called Python. It looks really pretty. Use that to deepen the outer V. I've got this little Holbrook brush, so I'm going to just take that and use it because it's one I have on hand. So as I said, I'm going in with that matte blue shade and just putting that in the outer V, give it some depth. So if you hear noise in the background, it's because it's the morning and everyone's awake and doing their own thing in the morning. I do like that there are some non-earthy colors in here. Just putting more and building that blue in the outer V. I'm not being overly fussy with the placement of this blue because I'm going to put some glitter, not glitter, but no, I think there are some pressed glitters in here. Yeah. I don't know which shimmers to use. There are a lot of beautiful shimmers in here, or maybe this other one here looks beautiful. Oh, that's pretty. It's kind of like a duochrome. It's got kind of like a reddy brown base and it shifts. It's got kind of like a green gold shift to it. Maybe that one, I think. This shade is called Brass. I'm going to use some glitter glue because Natasha Denona eyeshadows don't last very well on my eyelids without primer. Okay, I've got my Beauty Bakery Sprinkles glue, which I've not used before because I can't find my Too Faced one at the moment, so we're going to use that instead. I'm going to just put that on the center, and I'm going to take this Zoeva Luxe Smoker Shader brush with that shade Brass. There is something going on outside. I don't know if you can hear it. It sounds like protests. I don't know what's happening today. Sorry if you can hear that. Just put it on the center of the lid. Kind of go over the blue a little bit, but not completely. Fairly simple look today. I'm going to go back in with that blue, bring it back a little bit. I'm going to blend it out a little bit. I don't know, I feel like I want to use another shimmer in here. Joey is next door with the parents because what I've learned is it's very hard to demonstrate a makeup look with a child sitting next to you, especially one that has very nimble hands and will grab onto anything. So what was I saying? I think I'm going to go in with this metallic blue, just in between that brass shade and the matte blue. Tapping it on. I don't know if it's going to add anything to it. I'm going to go back in with that brass shade as well and just make sure it's all blended in. Okay, now I'm going to do the lower lash line and I'm going to use that mustard shade again with my Smudger 1 brush. I love this shade a lot. And then I will do the same thing and just add a little bit of that matte blue. I'm going to use this tiny little Hakuhodo brush. I wish they had the number on here because I have to find out what number it is each time I use it. Just going to add the matte blue in the outer V. blend it out a little bit more. I might just add some of this matte brown a little bit in the crease as well. This is teak, just to kind of transition from that matte blue into that mustard color. I'm gonna blend out the edges, and I think that's it. I think we're done after this. So this is the rest of my makeup done. I've just used this matte lipstick from Revlon, Cocoa Craving. I love these old school Revlon matte lipsticks. They're so good. Anyway, hopefully despite all the distractions, you kind of got the gist of how I got to this look. I think it's pretty. The shimmers are definitely placed very haphazardly, I feel, because they're kind of all over my eyelid. But I still think it's very pretty. I love that matte mustard yellow, and that matte blue just adds a little bit something to the palette. Otherwise it's kind of like an all brown gold palette, which I guess this is why it's called the gold palette. So yeah, kind of a simple-ish look. Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. Another day, another look with this gold palette. Not sure what I want to do again, but I think I'm going to go for an all gold look this time. I'm going to use this matte brown shade here. This is the lightest matte brown, I think. I'm just going to use this Hakuhodo kind of crease brush and just kind of put that in the crease area. I notice Natasha Denona eyeshadows do not last on me very well. Yesterday, after coming home from dinner with my parents-in-law, my eyeshadow was pretty much all faded. I mean, there were some glitter particles left over, but everything was really faded. So I think, you know, if you have oily eyelids, you're gonna have to use a really, you know, heavy duty primer, or just, you know, kind of expect that they're not gonna last super well. Then I'm gonna take the darker brown, same brush. This is the shade Log. It's a matte brown, and just put that underneath. I need to get my fringe cut, by the way, so that's gonna happen soon. I don't know, look, it's looking a bit patchy, I have to say. Then for some gold, and I think I might use this really yellow gold. Oreo, I think it's called. It's a very creamy metallic shade, really nice. I could use that. I might also use a bit of the one underneath. This is Alchemist. It's more coppery. It's got like that orange undertones to it. Might use a mixture of both. Okay, gonna use the same glitter glue I used yesterday, which is from Beauty Bakery. It's not my favorite, but it's what's here at the moment, so I'm gonna use that. Just put that in all over my mobile lid pretty much, but not taking it up too high. This time I'm gonna take a smaller shader brush. This is the one from Hakuhodo, and I'm gonna first take Oro. There's quite a bit of fallout, by the way, especially in the pan. It's very powdery, so just be careful with that one. Super yellow. It's very pretty shade. Very intense. I'm putting it all over my mobile lid, but I'm just making sure not to cover up the other matte browns that I laid over before. I think I'm going to take that coppery brown Alchemist. I'm going to take it with the same brush. I'm going to layer it on the outside. I don't know if this is going to make any sort of difference. Not really. It doesn't make much of a difference. That yellow gold is very dominant. I'm going to put a bit of that matte brown back into the outer V to give it some dimension. Blending it out with a clean blending brush. Just cleaning up the edges. I'm also going to smudge that matte brown onto the little lash line. Just smudge it out a little bit. Maybe I should add some gold into my inner corner. This is a topper shade, Carver. I might just add a little bit of that into the inner corner with my finger. Just kind of here, and maybe, yeah, just bring it up a little bit. It's kind of like a champagne gold, this one. It has a bit of a clear base, so you can wear it on top of other things and it's kind of going to transform it a little bit. I think I'm going to leave it at that. So today's look was me haphazardly choosing a couple of golds from this palette and mixing it with some matte browns. And this is the result of it. I think it's turned out nicely. I feel like the mattes are a little bit trickier to work with. They require, you know, some finessing, and the golds themselves are gorgeous. But yeah, I mean, I don't usually wear golds most days, so this for me is different. I have to say, when I look at this palette, it doesn't look like I've just used it for the first time or the second time, because there's so much kind of fallout and everything. The shimmers in particular are extremely powdery, and some of them are creamy, and it does pretty much get everywhere. However, I haven't actually gotten too much fallout really, just a little bit of glitter here. You know, it's not a big deal. I just went in with a foundation brush, and yeah. And paired with this Estee Lauder Pure Matte Envy Liquid Matte in 101 Naked. I tend to go for this nude very frequently when I just want something that's not going to be too loud, because the eyes are a little bit bold today. So hope you like it. So last look from Natasha Denona is one that I did yesterday. I didn't have time to film it, so I'm doing that today. And I pretty much wanted to use the shades that I hadn't yet. So predominantly this last column here, and this beautiful duochrome shade, Lime Chrome is the name. So it looks gorgeous, and that's what I'm gonna do. So it's kind of like a halo eye that I created. Going to use some primer. I'm gonna use this Hard Candy eyeshadow primer that Georgia Harris actually gave to me, and I haven't actually used much of it, so I'm gonna try it out. I did also get my fringe cut, so hopefully you can see everything a bit better today. Okay, so first shade I'm gonna take is this beautiful mustard shade, my favorite shade in the entire palette, Dijon, which is the mustard yellow. It's gorgeous. Gonna run that all over the crease, or over the whole eyelid, basically is what happened here. But it's okay, because we're gonna cover it up with the metallic shades later anyways. I did also take it out into a wing, so I just feel like, yeah, on my eye shape, that's what looks good. But you just work with, obviously, your own eye shape. You don't have to take it far out if it doesn't suit you. So next thing I'm gonna do is gonna take a mixture of these two shades, just because I found that this one is a little hard to blend, so by mixing it with this one just makes it a little bit easier, and also doesn't make it as like dark and strong. And I'm gonna use that as the base for my halo eye. I'm gonna place some on the outer V. And then a mixture of that on the inner corner. And that's gonna be my base for the halo eye. I'm gonna blend it out a little bit, the other brush I was using for Dijon. Next thing is I'm going to take some glitter glue. This is the Beauty Bakery Sprinkles glue, and put that on the center of my lid, because that's where I'm going to put Lime Chrome. Then I'm going to take this Linda Hallberg, this is a 305 brush, and take this gorgeous duochrome shade here. I think this is probably one of my favorite metallic shades from this palette. It's kind of got a greeny red shift to it. Definitely one of the more unique shades in this palette. Because these metallic shades are quite powdery, I do recommend kind of just patting them on, and definitely recommend using a sticky base with them too. Next I'm going to take this metallic brown shade, going to color switch this brush and add that on the outer edges to help blend that in with the matte brown. I'm also going to layer a little bit of this shade as well in between those two shades. And then over top, I'm going to use this topper shade. So this is similar in texture to this one actually. It feels quite dry. They kind of have more of a very fine sparkle to them. And this one has more of a translucent base. This one has more of a brown base to it. So I'm going to use this one. This is the shade Carver. And I'm just going to use that with my fingers actually. I'm going to just dab that on top of Lime Chrome. I'm going to take it a little bit up as well, into a little bit into the mattes as well, just to give it that extra shine. Now for the bottom lashes, I'm going to take Dijon as well, and I am going to take some of the brown, connecting it up with the outer V. Last thing I want to do before I finish off this look is I want to actually add some of this JD Glow Galaxy liner in Sphinx. I feel like this is the liner version of that Lime Chrome. So this is Lime Chrome here, beautiful, and this is Sphinx. They're very similar. So I'm going to add that just on the inner corners. I've never actually used this liner on the lower lash line before. So I'm going to take some more of that brown and just kind of blend it in, the mixture of Aria and Log, into that liner. So I think we're good. I'm gonna do my mascara and lips and then I'll show you the final look. Okay, so this is the final look. Just added some lipstick, which is Mural from Melt Cosmetics. I know I talk a lot of crap about the Melt matte lipsticks because they're not the most comfortable and I don't feel like the packaging is that great, but I do have to say I like their colors. I think they have some really nice unique colors, which is why I keep them around. I really like this look. I think it's fun. I think that the duochrome is just a really gorgeous touch to this palette. So those are my 3 looks. Let me know which was your favorite in the comments down below. I think this one is probably my favorite that I've created so far. But I've had a lot more fun with this palette than I expected. I don't usually go for golds, which is why I didn't pick up this palette. I was definitely eyeing it and I heard so many people talk positive things about this palette. And I do think that it has a lot of great things about it. The fact that it's got some great textures, you know, you've got duochromes, you've got mattes, you've got metallics, you've got topper shades, gives you a variety to work with. I also love the inclusion of the blues and the yellow. I just think that it makes the look a little bit more interesting and modernizes it a bit. You know, a lot of the gold palettes that I haven't necessarily got these kind of combinations in there, and I just think it just makes it a little bit more interesting. I've actually enjoyed using this palette. Will I reach for it every day? Probably not, because again, these shades are not really super in my comfort zone, but if I do want to go for a gold palette and gold shades, then I think that these are really stunning. And I do enjoy them. Look, some of the mattes I feel like a little bit trickier to work with. That dark matte brown is a bit tricky. It just takes a little bit more blending, but overall, I mean, no massive issues. So really happy with this. And again, thank you, Natasha, for giving this palette to me. I think this is such a generous gift. I've really enjoyed it. So yeah, let me know. Have you got this palette? Are you enjoying it? I honestly haven't heard anyone really talk bad things about it. Obviously, it is an expensive palette. And I think, you know, in terms of dupes, you could probably find singles that would come very close to shades that you might be interested in. So yeah, really happy that I've chosen this palette to play with finally after months of just not touching it or anything like that. It's such a pity to leave a palette this pretty just sit in the drawer. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying this series. Hopefully it's given you some inspiration if you have this palette or if you don't have this palette but you just like playing with golds. Anyway, thanks so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one.